Good morning, collective. Good morning. Hello. How are we doing today? I am so happy to be here with you, co creating in this magical way. We're so grateful for all of the support. Thank you so much. 1900s. Ugh, I am feeling. Mmm, have forebodings about. I'm feeling real tired in this energy. Let me see. Holy Divine Spirit, please remove this energy so I may observe it and not feel it from my mind, my body. Thank you so much. Ugh, gee, my knee. Poker face. Poker face, yeah. That was a really serious, that was very serious energy. Hello, collective. Hello, my name is Patience. I am your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News on all major platforms. Thank you so much for being here. I just saw 123. I've been seeing that. I saw that like 800 times yesterday. So thank you so much for being here. We are using this platform to develop our spiritual abilities. Here at Spirit News, we believe everybody has spiritual abilities. It is what your body, 144, it is what your, not your body, I'm sorry, it's what your non physical part of yourself is. That is the medium, that electromagnetic spark that is your soul. That is what is labeled as psychic, or what we've labeled psychic, which is just a label. That's just a word we made up to describe those abilities, or those things that people tap into: clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, all of those things. So we believe everybody has those abilities. They're just at different levels of awareness. And we're child psychic, so we had a very early awareness of another world, of other beings, of other things going on. We could see, feel emotions. Good morning, Ophelia. Thanks for being here. Good morning. I hope all is well with you. Um, yeah, so we're here honoring that spiritual version of ourselves. Oh, turn it up. How about now? How about now? Can you hear me? Or is it worse? Is it better or worse? Hi, Decker. Let's see. Is it better or worse? Hey, Juicy Jumbo from Tennessee. Is this better or worse? Better or worse? Better or worse? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Um, that's so funny you said that. God is great, because Spirit said you were wrong. Because I was guided to read a certain. I got these adult trivia game cards at. Thank you, Ophelia. I got these adult trivia game cards at the thrift store. They're from like 1970, and Anthony said he wants to start with those today, which is so funny because I have never um I only used them once, and it was for the Foxhole murders, which you can go check out if you want. Okay, so I got a couple things. Okay, first of all, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support, all of the likes, the subscribes. I really appreciate you. We are so grateful. If you want to follow any of our other socials, we do create TikToks with Spirit, and with real-time development. We try to capture all of our development there for you. We've documented our whole spiritual gift journey, and I'm doing it in real time with the help of my spirit team. So you can go check that out on our TikTok. You can find all our socials through the link in the bio for Linktree. Okay, I'm sorry, in the description bar. I think it is also on the bio page. Anyway, so Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain. You know what I thought was funny? His last name, because I said I was meditating and I was like, Anthony Ordain. I mean, Bourdain. So it's funny that it rhymes with ordain. I thought it was funny. Um, so there's a couple things. Obviously, Anthony Bourdain, I did not understand it when he passed. When I heard that he took his own life, I didn't understand it. I was like, why? He had everything, or at least, from what we could see, like he had success and he traveled and did you see his body? He was freaking ripped, bro. He was like, chakow, pow, pow. I was like, dang, go at 61. He was ripped. So I was like, all right. Um, he had he had lovers. Um, Spirit said heal. Spirit said heal, poker face. What's benediction? I've heard of this word, but I don't know. Spirit said benediction. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Benediction.
Here's the definition of benediction: the utterance or bestowing of a blessing, especially at the end of a religious service.
Oh, interesting. Hmm. Benediction is a short invocation for divine help, blessing, and guidance, usually at the end of worship service. Hmm. Interesting. Oh my gosh, it says closing benediction. We could possibly be releasing his soul from the earth plane to be able to go on to the light, because Spirit just said light. He may be earthbound because of what he did. There may be something he's regretting. Whatever message comes through, it seems that this would be his benediction, his way to release himself. So I'm happy to be here, happy to do it. Okay? So, I had a couple things that came through. Yeah, thank you, Spirit. Um, so Mason, I don't know if it could be a name Mason, or sometimes when Spirit says Mason, it's like secret fraternities and stuff. But I'll start with the dream I had. The dream I had the other night during the full moon was about giant python snakes. It was about giant python snakes, and I bought a giant yellow python. And the whole time I had this animal, I had this overwhelming sense of dread of like, I don't know how to take care of it, and I've never handled a snake before, and how am I gonna cuddle it? What if it's big enough to kill me? And stuff like that. And it was just so overwhelming, but instead of listening to those thoughts and trying to remediate them or do research or just get to a place where I can feel confident about handling a snake, I just got the snake and ended up getting really sick. And then I had this more sense of dread of like feeling really bad about that. Like I should have not got it then because I wasn't ready. And the snake didn't die, but it was very ill. And I was trying. And at that point, that was when I was like asking for help for benediction. Mm. So in Anthony's case, it could be something about him feeling overwhelmed about um, almost like imposter syndrome or um, feeling like turn left at the fork, feeling like he didn't have enough time to perfect, like a perfectionist kind of thing. Everything had to be like a certain way. He was very, I don't want to say insecure, but what I felt in the dream was uncertain. There wasn't a certainty about if I get this snake, then everything's gonna be fine. It was like I made these impulsive decisions, um, even though I wasn't feeling good about them. That's kind of the vibe I got from the dream. And then I got this song this morning that I couldn't get out of my head. It's called You're Perfect, I Hate It. It's by Amelia Ollie and Mickey Vallon. You know, I didn't expect this to be something. Hoped one day I'd wake up and you would be nothing to me. But this Sunday it'll be 10 months and I'd be lying if I said that didn't scare the shit out of me. But I'm tongue-tied 'cause you love me and my little dark mind. HIV? Spirit just said HIV. What? You love me and my little dark mind didn't run away when you saw inside. I tried to keep you away, but I gotta face it. I like what we have, don't want to stain it. Fuck, I think I'm gonna have to stay in this. I gotta face it. You're perfect. I hate it. Figured that I'd self-sabotage by now. I get so scared of problems that I haven't even found yet. I'm sick of looking for an easy way out. 'Cause the truth is, if this blows up, I'll still be worth it. It'll still be worth it to me. Yeah, I'm tongue-tied. 'Cause you love me in my little dark mind. You didn't run away when you saw inside. I tried to push you away, but I gotta face it. I like what we have, don't want to stain it. I think I'm gonna have to stay in this. I gotta face it. You're perfect. I hate it. Spirit said HIV. And I have the sex cards here. Oh my gosh, Spirit. All right. Okay. Anything I say is just entertainment. That shirt is a lot of pastels. Thank you. Um, Everything I say in this reading is for entertainment purposes only. I cannot prove any of it. This is just energy reading. Um, and I'm reveal to heal, or revealing truth to heal it, okay? So, what I'm getting, and Spirit said probably, I didn't want to say it, but then Spirit said probably, there could be something about him. He could have gotten sick in some way. It says HIV, so he could have contracted some kind of sexually transmitted disease, um, and possibly he didn't want to pass it on to anybody. He didn't want to, there's people in his life he loved that he could have been in a relationship with that he didn't want to pass it on to. It says, you're perfect, I hate it. Somebody who didn't have it. He could have found out he had it, and it could have been very conflicting for him. That could have been the thing about the dream, you know. I think the dream is multiple things, and it could include this um, illumination of this sickness. We'll see. And I also have the adult trivia, so it could be something about being promiscuous or contracting HIV. Okay? And not everyone who contracts HIV is, I mean, he could have been bisexual or something, but it's not always like that. Okay? Alright. Oh, that one fell on the ground. Okay. We'll do the trivia. We have two browns, one blue, and one pink. Okay. Alright, Anthony, tell us more. Let me write that HIV down. I don't know that for sure. That's just what Spirit just said, so we'll keep going. He could have been really in love with somebody that he was with, someone he may have had an open relationship with, 'cause you love me in my little dark mind. He could have had sexual preferences or something that this person didn't shy away from or didn't judge him for or accept it, or maybe they had their own dark little mind, and so that's why it worked for them. You didn't run away when you saw inside. I tried to push you away, but I gotta face it. He didn't want to stain what he had. So he knew he was gonna have to face something. And it says the truth, because the truth is, if this blows up, it'll still be worth it to me. So that's interesting, okay? So we'll do brown. If the same lady was cast in more than one Bing Crosby film, what was almost for certain? Didn't I just say certain? Didn't I just say he felt uncertain about a lot of things? Let me see. That they had been being sex partners. I think Anthony Bourdain. And look, there's an A. There's an A. And the girl's chasing him, chasing the man. I think that Anthony Bourdain was bisexual. And that wasn't something that he wanted people to know about. Except this person knew about it and accepted him for being that way. And so that gave them a very special relationship. But because of his bisexuality, he may have contracted HIV. And I'm not saying because he was with men, I'm just saying just being whatever he was doing with partners. That may be why he felt like he didn't have a choice. Okay. So let's keep going. We'll do another brown. Which stripper said, men aren't attracted to me by my mind. They're attracted to me by what I don't mind. Gypsy Rose Lee. Which stripper? Gypsy Rose Lee. Oh my gosh. Is Gypsy Rose named after a stripper?
Find the truth.
Her mom strikes again. Okay, so men aren't attracted to me in my mind. They're attracted to me by what I don't mind. What is the primary hormone that accounts for male characteristics? Testosterone. Oh. According to the Victorians, would spending be done by a man or a woman? A woman, What? According to the Victorians, would spending be done by a man or a woman? A woman, her secretions after intercourse. Men aren't attracted to me by my mind, they're attracted to me by what I don't mind. If you are a Sagittarius, are your chances of being compatible with a Pisces good, bad, or indifferent? Bad. Oh, I get what you're saying. What is the difference between a wife and a job? After a few years, the job still sucks. So he's saying that when he was with people, he was more attracted to what they would let him do, you know? He wasn't attracted to people by their mind. He was attracted to people by what they don't mind. So this may be a reason that he cared deeply about this somebody, the last person in his life, because this person didn't mind. They may have accepted his dark mind. There may have been a lot of experimentation going on, a lot of um, different. It says, what's the difference between a wife and a job? After a few years, the job still sucks. So, something about having a high libido, of wanting to be able to not have, or maybe wives in the past or people he's been with in the past don't know him fully, something like that. And so he hasn't found a lot of people he's compatible with, because they don't understand this side of him or they don't see it. Um, because possibly people usually only get with him because of spending. According to the Victorians, would spending be done by a man or a woman? By a woman. So there's some kind of chip on his shoulder about people he was with. He couldn't be his full self around, and he didn't know if they were using him for money or if they were with him because, of his job and stuff like that. But the person, whoever it was last, is somebody who may have shared similarities in their sexual preferences or experiences or something like that. Okay. Okay. D and C stands for what? Dilation and curettage. What the heck is curettage? Curettage. Let me look it up. Curettage?
According to Wikipedia, Securitas AB is a Swedish group
Securitas
devoted to security services such as
Securitas
security guarding, mobile patrolling, monitoring, investigation, and
A medical procedure that involves scraping or removing tissue from a cavity or surface. The hell?
Brandon. Nasty.
Nasty. Okay, I see what you're saying. Ugh. There's a part of Anthony that people didn't see. Okay? And they don't have to see it. That's not anybody's business. And I'm not gonna go out here and, put him full on blast, but he was a kinky guy. Okay? This guy is a little kinky. And that's fine. You can be whatever you want. There's no judgment here. But because of this exploration, it may have gotten him into a place of not being satisfied or compatible with most people. What's coming to mind right now that Spirit's giving me is I saw Jake the Snake the Wrestler talk about something like this, and it's something that happens with unhealed people that always have to do better, that always have to keep pushing and no, I can do better than that. We could be bigger, and it's always the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And Jake the Snake said that, he had trouble holding relationships because in his career he experienced threesomes and all these, like, very advanced sexual, I mean, I don't want to say advanced, but just really, like, um different sexual orientations and not like traditional marriages. And so he couldn't do all that, crazy stuff and then go and be in a traditional relationship, and so he would lose a lot of relationships because he was addicted to having those crazy sexual escapades. It's what he liked, it's what he liked. Or I don't know if he liked it so much, or that's just, it's like once you go to that level, and you're not a healed person and you have some things some wounds you have to take care of, and you're already doing the most extreme things. It's like, how can you, go backwards and just do it becomes like boring to them, So there's something about that. Um, and so whoever this person um, is perfect to them because this person has actually opened to the things I like to do, or at least I'm able to tell them about it. Maybe I'm not sure if she was on
Clearly.
clearly. I'm not sure if she was like on
Two.
two. Okay, thank you. Yes. So she could have participated in some really freaky kinky things, and this really made him appreciate this person. And he doesn't normally fall in love with people because there's always like this disconnect between, well, I can't really, truly be myself because you're not into that, and I can't expect you to like be into those things like me. And so he wasn't usually compatible with people, but he found somebody in his older years where he's finally met somebody who likes these things. There's also a chip on his shoulder about um, age, about time, something about his age. He could have had a belief. It doesn't make it true because he was ripped. Like I mean, he might have been 61, but he was living a 40-year-old life for sure. So, there's something about him
Tyler.
having a chip on his shoulder about like an age gap or something, or like, um, mm, maybe the person he cared about last was younger than him, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna draw one more of these adult cards. Queen Elizabeth of Queen Elizabeth the First of England was reputed to have how many lovers? None. Mm, none. Mm, mm. What pop artist once said, "I'd rather laugh in bed than do it"? Andy Warhol. That's so funny. Andy Warhol's coming up because we did a reading with Basquiat last week and they're associated. So that's funny. Hmm. So that's two references to no sex. What is the approximate life of a sperm after it has been released in the vagina? 48 hours. Hmm. Something may have happened. Um.
Hair.
Hmm. Something may have happened in the last 48 hours that he was alive about finding out about how many lovers someone had, or finding out that somebody he cared so much of this person he cared about had a lover or may have been with another lover or something. Um, someone that this may have been the first person that Anthony was with that was starting to become more than just sexual. Because the song said, "You're perfect, I hate it. I like what we have, don't want to stain it. I didn't expect this to be something. Hoped one day I'd wake up and you'd be nothing to me. But this Sunday it'll be 10 months, and I'd be lying if I said that didn't scare the shit out of me. But I'm tongue tied." So I think that something happened in the last 48 hours he was alive with this person. It could have been something with another lover, or that he may have found out this person was with someone else, or but the thing is that he didn't expect to care this much about this person, and so he didn't really understand how to deal with that. Something like that. Okay. The healing process began when I joined a support group for victims of math camp. So he was always in his head. It prevented him from healing certain things because he's somebody who, just like in the dream, he's very in his head. That's kind of how I felt in the beginning. He's always thinking like the thoughts, like it's almost like creating thoughts and then believing them. You know, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she could, I don't know, it's something about not being able to heal or let the healing process begin because he's always a victim of his own thoughts of overthinking, okay? He's an overthinker. The socialist governments of Scandinavia have declared that
Unsuspected.
access to blank is a basic human
Note
right.
to that.
Access to thinking about the girl from college who told me she was breastfed until she was 11 years old. I told you. I told you he couldn't get out of his head that whatever this woman may have had another lover, and then he couldn't get it out of his head that he's older and that she's younger, and it became like a thought that he couldn't stop thinking, and it was just something that was overcoming him. It was something that he gave access to to himself to overcome him. It's something that he couldn't get out of his head. It really affected him. Because this is the one girl that has accepted dark parts about him, but she could possibly, I don't know what their relationship was, but she could this is the first person he's ever felt this way about, and she's also could possibly be with somebody else or something like that. Having problems with my blank, try blank, pick 2. Having problems with my angering the gods, having problems with angering the gods, try not doing any homework. Having problems with angering the gods, try not doing any homework. That's like my dream. Oh my gosh, that's like my dream. It's like, so in this scenario, in the dream, I got that snake and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to take care of it. I didn't know how to even operate a snake or how to even hold it. There's lots of things that I should have done my homework for before I got the snake. And so this is kind of like the way it relates to this problem, to his problem, is that he had a problem and he was angry that he felt this way about this person and he had no idea how to even handle the situation. He was angry, but he didn't reach out to ask questions, to do research, to figure, to talk about whatever happened with the last 48 hours, whatever he found out about this person, possibly about her having another lover or multiple lovers. And so instead of figuring out what the problem was and going to this person and being like, I really care about you. Hi, Marie Lightworker. Instead of being honest about his emotions, this is somebody who is untethered emotionally. They're blown out. They're like a floppy dancing thing when it comes to their emotions. No control, no discipline. It's like a very sensitive person, a very easily offended, because they're very conscientious about um, their age gap, something about an age gap, okay? Instead of honoring those feelings, there's something he didn't do the homework for. He was angry, but he had a problem, but he didn't do any of the homework. He didn't, as a basic human right to himself and to this person, he didn't even figure out what was going on. There may have been something he found out
Death.
in deathbed. It really just,
Nothingness.
it really just effed him up. It really effed him up. Nothingness. It was like, well, if this person doesn't want me, then no one's gonna ever want me from here. He's very thought thinker, he believes everything he thinks. Loving you is easy because you're driving around town in a tank. Loving you is easy because you're driving around town in a tank.
Ghost of ancestor. Pins.
Loving you is easy because you're driving around town in a tank. Something about this person being loved by the town. Someone who maybe, I don't know. I mean, he's a celebrity person, so whoever this person is could possibly be a celebrity as well.
Definitely not.
Mm.
Lyric.
Well, I don't understand what you're saying by that. It's lyric. Loving you is easy because you're driving around town in a tank. I don't understand. Tell me more. I don't understand that one. What do you mean? I didn't expect this to be something. Hoped one day I wake up and you'd be nothing to me. But this Sunday it'll be 10 months and I'd be lying if I said that you didn't scare the shit out of me. I'm tongue-tied. Profession. Oh. You're talking about you're traveling and stuff. Oh, I get what you're saying. You have changed quickly, changed the night. Yeah, there's something about, oh my gosh, okay, I get what you're saying. So, because this person, he wanted to change everything for this person. Because he was somebody who could never be tied down, because he was somebody who never found somebody he was completely compatible with in every way, or someone he could show his darkness to, he found somebody that he could and who shared a lot of those similarities, and he wanted to change for her. Change his job, change his profession, but his profession is already, I mean, he's 61 at this point. So he's lived a large portion of his life traveling and doing something that he's been doing for a long time. And so he's like, well, what am I going to do now? And there's lots of changes going on within him that he wasn't ready for when it comes to love. Loving you is easy. And so he's going through all these emotions of, wanting to change for this person, and he's never had that before. He's 61 and he's never actually been in love before. He's loved many people, but like that true unconditional love, he's never had that before. And so he's very conflicted about, how, what would I do? Am I going to retire? And then that makes me even, that really makes me an old guy. He's struggling with these thoughts, these limiting thoughts of I'm too old, I'm with a younger person who they're going to be in a different stage of their life than me. They see me for who I am. I'm going to have to stop traveling. Stuff like that. There's a lot of conflicting energy in his thoughts about what he's gonna do with this person who he just found out could possibly have other lovers. This really just this messed him up. This messed him up really good. Changed in the night. You have changed quickly. There's something that he did quickly, impulsively, something that he did in a low energetic, emotional distress. Um, this reminds me of spirits bringing up my daughter. My daughter's very emotional. She's a very um, sensitive person, and I'm so happy to be able to be here for her to help her regulate those emotions. But Anthony didn't know how to do that, and there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to regulate their emotions because they never had an example or someone to teach them in the moment of how to do it. And so you grow up, and just because you're 61 doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're able to do it, especially when you're not working on that aspect of yourself, when you're constantly traveling, working, filming, sexing, you're doing everything but that, regulating your emotions. And so what happens is when you're in that emotional state, whatever that is, whatever you're upset by, in that emotional state, because you're not able to regulate it or to detach from it or to calm yourself down, you will think or believe that the thoughts that you are thinking in that emotional state are Bible, and that it'll never end and this is horrible. But really emotions is just energy in motion, and it goes up and down, and they're there for you to see that things make you upset. If you didn't have any emotion, you would never know what you want and what you don't want. And so you have to have emotion, but when you are not educated or familiar with those highs and lows, you can, as an ignorant person of not knowing, attach yourself to that emotion and think that that's how it's going to be forever. Okay? And that's when people make impulsive choices to do things that they would never normally do. And it's hard for us to understand because we're not taught about this. Yes, this is like my guy that left 2022, older, unable to handle emotions. Yeah, Anthony Bourdain too. Maybe that's why you're here. Because, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen with women, but I do notice, or I'm observing, that a lot of men will be emotionally dysregulated, but it doesn't look like the way it does with women on the outside. It's normally very like contained, quiet, isolated, private. Um, and it and people who take their own lives will be in this onset of emotional distortion, and because they don't understand their emotions, they take an action within that emotional state, not understanding that it's going to pass. So I always tell my daughter, don't worry, you're allowed to feel your emotions, but just know it's going to pass. This is just something you're feeling right now, and you might not even feel it 10 minutes from now. But it's in those short bursts of emotional distress that people take these actions because they're unable to really detach from the pain that the emotions bringing. And so what we want you to understand is that emotions are meant to exist to show you what you like and what you don't like, what feels good and what feels bad. And if you didn't have the contrast of those things, you would never know what you want. And you have to feel those things in order to decide or choose which direction to go in. But the thing we're not taught in our society is that, we're often taught that, oh, you're being overly emotional. Oh, emotions don't matter. Oh, you're just being, ridiculous, or you're being, what's the word? Not senile, but you're being, what's that word? You're causing a scene, you're being crazy, when really the person's upset there's something that's happened that it has upset them. They're not being ridiculous. They're not being, out of control. They're exhibiting an emotional state that they're in because they're feeling something they don't like. And it will pass, but by telling people, oh, you'll be fine, oh, don't worry about it, you're crazy, emotions don't matter, like, no, they do. And we need to, like, figure out a better way to allow people to express their emotions in a safe environment, in a safe place where they feel like they can emote, and then be like more of a community for those moments, and get people through it, because the medicine's not working. All these pills they push on us are not meant to fix the problem. They're just meant to mask it for a little bit. Lots of women without love, just sex, drugs, alcohol. I know now what not to give my energy to. I was manipulated, controlled, used, and left to die. Money motivated and dishonest. God saw and protected me. Yeah, there's definitely, even I had my own moments, Marie, where, before we had kids, we were partying a lot, and
Chamber.
I didn't see it then, but my husband's
Hands
been
room.
clean for 2 years now. Thank God, it's a miracle. But thank God he wanted that he decided to change, because before, it was really becoming like, we were like amoeba stuck to each other, partying, and it started to become really crazy, and and it was hard to get out of that, and he wasn't ready, but I was, and so we were two people on two different paths, and I definitely know what it's like to be like in emotional turmoil and not know how you're going to get out of it. But that's another thing that that Spirit brought up yesterday about, because I've been formulating and gathering the pieces for the next episode of Spirit News, and it's about the rise of the
I
divine.
have.
Great for you. Was wondering, us light workers go through it. Yeah, honestly, everyone on earth is going to go through something, because that's why we come here. We come here to eventually remember that it can be transmuted, that it can be used and perceived as a positive thing that got me to where I am now, that was able to turn me into the diamond I am now. So, the thing that we're learning by gathering the components for the next episode of Spirit News, the rise of the divine feminine, because we are starting to integrate more divine feminine energy, and it looks very emotional. It looks very chaotic. It looks very manipulative. It's a very toxic femininity, but we're already in a toxic masculine state. So we're transmuting the dark parts of that, so that way we can start to exhibit the good parts of it. And it's never something that's, black or white. It's always both at the same time, because this is the dualistic universe. And so one thing that I'm learning is that
Salad.
um, it requires a surrendering of some kind, of letting go of the outcome. Being in your feminine energy, even if you're a man, is about not needing to control the outcome of things. It's more about, when you're in an emotional state, letting go and knowing that it's going to pass, that it's not going to be forever, that whatever is meant for you is going to be meant for you, and you don't have to be worried about what's going to happen, or the outcome, or what did I get myself into, or this is gonna, whatever thoughts you're thinking in that moment. You have to also understand that they are just thoughts in that moment, and that they're not, you might not be the same an hour for them. To give yourself time to really feel the emotions and then release them. And that's something we're learning about, mother energy, accepting things we cannot change, and looking forward to whatever's meant for us, and to, without feeling the need of being controlled by the uncertainty of it. because things are going to be uncertain. You can't change that. So you might as well just allow whatever's meant to be to come to you, and that's something that Anthony is saying that he couldn't do, that he didn't have awareness to do. He found something out the last 48 hours of his life about somebody that the first person he could have possibly ever loved, or was like unconditionally in love with. It could have been some kind of like soulmate or twin flame. Uncertainty, uncertainty. But because he already had a self-deprecating way about him, where he was, oh, his thoughts were always, on to the next one, or this has to be perfect, or it was never enough. And so when he found love, he was not in the right place to really believe that this is certain, that this is real, that this is something I deserve. All of the thoughts he was thinking. But because he thought those things so much,
Concrete slab.
whatever this person may have done, had another lover, it really made him realize that, his future is uncertain without her, or that's what he believed. Okay? So in that moment of uncertainty, he took a quick action that changed everything. We're all mad here because he had a moment of psychosis, because the thought of losing, or the thought of someone he loved so much being with someone else, really just sent him into a whirlwind. And I'm not saying it's that person's fault. I think their dynamic was open because he's very sexually promiscuous. He could possibly be bisexual. And that's why he never settled down, because he was never satisfied. He was never found somebody who matched his energy until this person. And so, just like the song says, I'm tongue-tied because you love me in my dark little mind. You didn't run away when you saw inside. I tried to keep you away, but I gotta face it. So it's like he pushes people away, and this person he may have pushed away, and they were like, well, fine, if you don't really want to be with me, then I'm gonna see other people. It could be like a little bit of both, like being open sexually, but not being able to um, consolidate these feelings he had because they're so strong, because he never felt them before. Okay. Ugh.
Undocumented death.
Okay, so I got these dowsing rods. Let's ask them. Let's see if they work. Anthony, are you with us? Okay. Back to neutral. Thank you. Anthony, did you have HIV? Did you have HIV? Oh, shit. Did you not want... Okay, back to neutral. Did you not want this person to get HIV? Oh. Were you unable to regulate your emotions? Thank you. Back to normal. Were you just made an impulsive decision in that moment? Yes. Thank you. Do you regret doing what you did? Yes. Thank you. Were you plagued by your own thoughts? Yes. Thank you. Back to normal. Did you often have moments where you were unregulated? Yes. Do you think that medication could have helped you? No. No. Do you think it was more about healing certain things? Yes. Because you had everything you wanted. Yes. Uh, okay. Well, that's sad. Let's find out. Um, let's find out what you would have changed. What would you have done differently now in retrospect of what you went through? What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently? Now that you can do a review and see things from a higher perspective, what would you have done differently? Criticize, challenge. He wouldn't have criticized himself so much. He was really hard on himself. He was his own worst critic. He was always talking to himself badly, and he was always believing the things that he said about himself. Excellence means being different. Be yourself. Be brave enough to accept all challenges. Yeah, he criticized his ability to overcome something.
Daniel.
He thought that it was too much for him to take in the moment, that
Tragic sight.
he wouldn't have been worthy or able or strong enough to overcome something, because he was always putting himself down. So he would have changed that. He would have accepted challenges. He would have been brave. He would have known that being different is good, that he would have been accepted. He had some weird thought in his mind that he couldn't be accepted because it says in the song, did 'cause you love me and my little dark mind didn't run away when you saw inside. I have emptiness and break obstacles in reverse, because oftentimes when you have guilt and shame, the low emotions of guilt and shame, and you're not emptying those emotions or transmuting them or overcoming them, you're allowing them to fester, to rot, to really affect all aspects of your life. And in Anthony's case, it turned into self-criticism. It turned into deprecating. I don't know if I said that word right. Just really putting himself down, his own worst critic. And thoughts turn to things. So you have to understand that even though you're thinking those things in your own head, and you maybe not are telling people, you are still chipping away at your own self-worth, and it creates an emptiness within you where you're constantly trying to fill yourself to feel good about yourself, but it doesn't come from anything outside of yourself. The hole that you have to fill has to come from love, from loving yourself, from saying nice things to yourself, from understanding that I'm different and there's things that I've done that I'm ashamed of, but I accept that, and I'm gonna let go of any thoughts of that make me feel bad about those choices I made.
Sorry for what happened.
Sorry for what happened. Oh.
Decorative.
And so he couldn't do that. Whatever he did, whatever he experienced, it made him feel like he could never forgive himself for whatever he did. So he became his own worst critic, and those feelings of guilt and shame trickled out into his relationships where, you know, if you don't, I can't even accept my own dark mind, so how are you going to accept it? So therefore I can never truly be loved, because I don't truly love myself because I can't accept the things I've done. And so that leaves you with a feeling of emptiness, of nothingness, because you can't even find the love for yourself to overcome or to stop criticizing yourself. So um, it became debilitating in his thoughts. It became debilitating. But it was his own illusion. He realizes now, on the flip side, from a different perspective, that it was all an illusion. It was never true. It was never real. It was just what he thought was real. And it reminds me of the song Spirit sent to me called The Land of Make Believe. And it's about Earth and how this is the land of make believe. And nothing that happens on earth, nothing that we believe in is actually true outside of earth. It's completely unity consciousness. And so the things that we believe in that separate us from being united or in union with Christ consciousness is actually an illusion. And when you believe something so greatly, it becomes your reality, but it doesn't mean you can't change your mind or that you can't change that part of it. You can absolutely 100% break the illusion, change the illusion, transmute it, redirect it, whatever word you want to use. Just because you believe it's true doesn't mean it is, and it doesn't mean that it's true outside of this earth. There are many things that we believe that aren't true anywhere else in the universe. And so, from that perspective, you have to realize that that means our thoughts matter. What we think matters. And if we're constantly thinking something and then believing it, that's what we're going to experience. So, this is a very valuable lesson that he's bringing to us, that he sees that it was all an illusion. Don't judge a book by its cover. Have another perspective. Be an observer of all beliefs, because just because you believe it doesn't mean anyone else believes it, and it doesn't make it true just because you believe it. Okay? Oh, thank you so much, Anthony. I'm sorry for what happened. I see what happened, and thank you for coming through and giving us this
Preference.
perspective. We're very grateful, and we love you so much. Thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing, hi everybody, pray for these people. There are so many. Yes, hopefully we hopefully feel that by doing these readings, anyone who's watching, it'll be like word of mouth. Hopefully everyone learns a little something from our crossover loved ones and ancestors that come through and share their perspective. So we really hope that it helps in any way, shape, or form. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Shannon, Celeste, and Bella Watts. The horrible tragedy of the Watts family, where the Christopher Watts took the lives of his family. We're going to get their perspective. I want to know what's going on with that. What happened? Why? When? Where? I need to know. So if you want to know too, join us tomorrow morning, and we'll see you there. Love you so much. Bye.